There comes a time when we have to stop negotiating with ourselves. We have to start embracing those irreversible shifts that lead to the most unapologetic, raw expressions of ourselves. This is Sexy Rebel Spirit, the private podcast by House of Andrea that drops live every single day into our exclusive Telegram space. If you're not in that space and you want to join the conversation, you'll find the link to it in the show notes. It's sexuality, it's rebellion, it's spirituality, and how these three things are simply the expression of who you are. This is your calibration portal, and this is where it all gets to change. So let's dive in. Good morning. I just wanted to drop in because there's a lot of energy sitting in the field at the moment around sacred anger. And the reason why I know this is because, as you know, 24 hours ago, this beautiful portal of the Sexy Rebel Spirit opened. And that came off the back of just feeling this firehorse energy of needing to move, needing to be in service of these three energies that my team, the universe, God, has really pushed me into, to lead into. And then yesterday, all I felt all day was this huge sense of rage and anger. And I really thought it would be powerful to drop in and talk about that, because when we are stepping into our bravery, we're stepping into that feeling of, I want to start being and expressing exactly who I am, we can get faced with feelings of anger, of vulnerability, and sacred rage is one of those things that can really come out when we're having that vulnerability hangover, when we've decided to be true to self. We've put ourselves out there, we've decided to go all in on something, and then this sense of, oh shit, what have I done? Oh my God, what am I doing? What have I done? And then this rage can come up, this anger can come up. And what happened yesterday is I got up early. It was like, I got up at 6. I had a podcast interview, which was so beautiful. It was with the host, Samantha, of the Rebel Matriarch podcast, which is all these beautiful conversations around stepping into our matriarchal sovereignty, our power, our voice, our expression to really lead this next generation of change that the world is really craving for. And the interview was so beautiful, so powerful. We went in and talked about the connection between spirituality and our gifts and our mysticism and our magic, and plugging that into being unapologetic around what we believe in, really clarifying and stepping into that, and how anger can actually be the access point into the parts of our soul that are willing to be expressed. Quite often we think anger, we think the world, the chaos, everything that is around us, we, through history, have labeled that or have felt into that as a negative, something to avoid, something that is dangerous and upsetting. All right, we can kind of automatically go into that lower frequency side of those emotions. But we had this beautiful, powerful conversation around my belief that anger can be the gateway into feeling our emotions. It can be the gateway into feeling who we are and what we really truly stand for, and what our soul is actually starting to speak to us about, that we're not happy about, that we want to shift, that we want to change, to really shed. And so we had this incredible conversation with Sam on the podcast, which comes out in a few weeks. I'll drop it here when it's available. And then I felt really good. I came into this space and we did the big drop around the origin story of this Telegram chat and this work and everything. And then almost instantly, within, I'd say 30 minutes of that, just this intense feeling of rage came into my body. And it was really unsettling, because you automatically want to be like, why am I so angry? Like, why is this so frustrating? What is this fuel that's burning through me? And it is just often there are parts of ourselves when we really bravely stand up and claim who we are, we can get angry at ourselves for doing that. We can feel really vulnerable, really exposed for doing that. And it can get really, really uncomfortable. And so we actually had to go out. A friend of ours had a 50th birthday yesterday. And as you know, with this recovery, I've been very housebound. I haven't been able to drive. I haven't really been able to leave the house because traveling in the car is super uncomfortable at the moment. It just causes everything to vibrate and hurt. And so I've been basically housebound, and our friend's party came up. And for the last week, I've been so looking forward to going, just seeing friends and music. And even if I couldn't move around or dance, just being around humans. And this rage was just burning through my body yesterday, this anger around just trying to cleanse and clear out some of this old stuff that still believes or still fears that, stepping into 100% sovereignty, that is conflicting. It is foreign on some very deep levels, even although it's something that I'm committed to and feels the true north for the path that I am on. It still feels like, ugh, really? Really? Do I have to? And I realized that my body and the level of exhaustion just contained within my body, not only from the deep excavation and trust that I held for myself in the podcast conversation to really say the things that were true for me. I was exhausted. My body is working so hard at the moment to heal itself and hold the calibration of this work, which the timing of it is perfect. It is the now frequency for me to be able to do this work. But I was so tired that I had to say to my husband, I can't go. This thing that I had really been looking forward to, and I'm almost coming up to 4 weeks of missing out. I've had to watch my husband go and do fun things and play his sports and hang out with friends and see family and just be left at home. Not that I've been abandoned, but by choice to choose healing. And so I had to watch him last night again leave the house, having made the choice. This choice to rest. I could have pushed, right? I could have pushed through. I could have been well, I refuse to feel this anger. I refuse to miss out. I'm just going to push through. But I knew at a soul level that I needed to rest and I needed to stop. And I was angry about that. And I was just feeling all of these vulnerable hangover clearing out emotions. And so I watched him leave and I was just so furious because the human self wants to be well, he gets to have a life, he gets to go and do all these things, and I get to stay home. And of course it didn't make it his fault. It didn't impose that on him. I was angry, but it was my anger. And I said to him, he's do you want me to stay home? I'm of course not. I'm it's not about you. This is not directed at you. I know it's in the space within which you occupy. And for that, I am sorry, but please go. It's your friend. Celebrate this anger, this frustration, this emotion, because there's a lot of emotion that sits under that as well. This is not about you. This is about me being brave enough to push myself into areas of expansion that I'm not that are foreign and my body wants to reject. It's also frustration around that feeling of missing out. It's not anything to do with you. So I just sat there and watched him leave and then just had all of these feelings that I had to feel. And honestly, sometimes we just have to let that emotion, that vulnerability, reveal to us the places within which that we want to expand. We need to let them burn through the old. We need to be able to hold that sacred rage as this access point into being able to feel. being able to move, to be able to see, like being so angry yesterday, I had that opportunity to do one of two things. Either just be angry and be like, F everything sucks, like I'm furious, like poor me, what's wrong with me, why is this always happening to me? Like I could have done that. And I felt that one arise, right? We all have that pattern within us to be able to flick into that default childlike, like why me energy, or have the conscious choice to take the second option, which is to see this rage as like a cleansing rage, right? Enabling me to access and see parts of myself that are in the shadow, that are ready to be released. Because so often we get angry about things because there's a choice that we're not making, or there is a part of our life that we're not living, or a version of ourselves that is still kind of being stifled. And so you can use that rage to be like, show me where I'm in misalignment with myself. Show me what's really important to me and what's really making me angry, and show me the mirror, because everything is a mirror. And use the anger to actually access yourself. Access that part of you that wants to be unstoppable, that wants to be fully expressed, that wants to have the life that they can have without feeling like your past, your conditioning, your makeup is the thing that has to determine who you are. You know, like completely vulnerably, I was someone who could not handle anger, emotion, feeling when I was, teens and even into early adulthood. I had all of my senses open, but I wasn't connected to them. And so I was feeling all of the things all of the time. And that made my personality and my behavior quite erratic, right? Because I was being controlled from that place. But now when I get now when the anger rises, it's for me, not to me. It's like a choice that you can make to be like, no, I'm going to use this to cleanse. I'm going to use this as a portal into accessing and feeling what I actually need to and want to feel. And I'm realizing this morning, having slept and having the clarity on it, like sometimes you just need to let that anger and emotion burn through you and do nothing with it. Just feel it. Just let it reveal stuff to you. And so, yes, last night when my husband left, it's a beautiful magpie that's just landed near us, singing while I record this. I let that watch my husband leave, and then I had to just make that decision to let it burn through and show me where I'm in misalignment. And I'm realizing I maybe haven't been living my life to the fullest that I have been, making decisions to just not go to that thing, or not see that person, or focus on work, or do those, societal standard follow through things. And the reason why I was so angry was because I had to face the fact that I'd kind of made choices to build a life the way that I had built it, and it was in misalignment to who I want to be. And so if you are starting to feel emotion rising with you, if you're starting to feel this sovereign energy, this ungovernable, want to speak about the things that are really important to you, thing come up, and then you put yourself out there and you say something, and then you're followed up within hours, minutes, days with emotion or anger, know that it is part of the process. Know that the anger is just taking you deeper into the soul, the seat of your soul that knows who it wants to be, knows what it wants to express. It's like burning out and burning through, if you let it, the stuff that's old, making those pathways for the new to come in. And so don't run away from anger. Of course, if you're making that first choice to just let anger be your identity, you prefer anger on an unconscious level, and it's just easy to be an angry person, and you don't want to face what the anger is trying to reveal to you, it's going to lead you down a very different path. But if you let the anger rise and burn out what it is that isn't meant to be there, and allow the vulnerability hangover to happen, Because when that happens, you manage it, you feel it, you move through it. And then on the other side of that, that's when that unstoppable energy comes in. That's when you start revealing that deeper connection with your soul, your spirit, and everything. Because all of a sudden, it's closer to you, it's more revealed. So I feel that is all that is on that transmission for today. I am going to brave the trip, the 4-hour trip in the car to go and see my dad for his 70th birthday. Fingers crossed that all goes well and my body holds up to the journey, but I know my soul is yearning to see him and spend time with him and get out of the house and be brave enough that even if I'm still feeling a little residual of the vulnerability or the anger or the emotion, that I know how to use that as fuel to continue to clean out any density in my body, like this beautiful forest fire, so that I can still show up and be present. So I'm sending you so much love for today, whatever it is, whatever part of the journey that you're on, whatever you're doing today. Sending you so much love, sending you the sexy rebel spirit energy so that you can continue to express even the tiniest piece of that today. And I'll see you here tomorrow. Interestingly, I've just had Spirit tap me and say there's one more thing to drop into this frequency today, is around allowing yourself to change your mind and be different from moment to moment. Sometimes we think that if we have an emotion come up, if we make a decision around something, 1 minute or one day, it's like you've made some sort of a declaration that that is how you're going to feel and what you're going to do from that point on. And there's this craving as humans to need to be consistent, to be understood, need to be or act consistently in ways so that people around us can be like, oh, that's her, she's reliable, she's consistent. And I was thinking about it, how I feel today compared to how I felt yesterday are poles apart. Yesterday, as I said, it was a lot of the rage, vulnerability around feeling like I was missing out, choosing rest because that's what my body was calling for yesterday. Don't go to the party, rest. Whereas because I let that feeling exist and be and move and shift, I've woken up this morning and I'm I feel different. I feel like I want to try and go in the car, which is an even longer drive than what the party was last night, which I felt incapable to handle. I'm going to try and do the drive to go and see my dad today. I am going to feel a certain different way, and there's a part of us that wants to shame ourselves. Spirits are saying, as humans, we're so good at wanting to shame ourselves of well, that's inconsistent. Didn't you just say you need to prioritize rest? Weren't you just emotional, feeling like you're missing out, but wanting to be slow and in process yesterday? Why are you now saying today that you want to try and drive for 4 hours and go and see your dad? Isn't that the opposite? You're being inconsistent, and that shame mechanism wants to come in and to be am I a liar? Am I this? Am I that? And the energy around that is no. We as humans are so capable of moving through our emotions, processing how we're feeling. If we're not bypassing, we can actually let things move through and shift and change and heal at warp speed, because we are energy. We are souls in human bodies that can change rapidly, moment to moment to moment. And so for whatever reason, Spirit is wanting us to drop this in this space today. It's if you felt something yesterday or 2 hours ago and now you feel different because you let it move, because you let it permeate and shift and change you, not only energetically but cellularly, allow yourself to be in that new changed state, and don't shame yourself if it feels different, if it feels inconsistent, because this journey is all about metamorphosis, constantly metamorphosizing, reinventing, changing, growing, expanding, and returning back to the essence that exists within you at that soul level, uncovering the God, Goddess, source energy that exists within your body and within your field. And so source is saying, I can move fast. That's what source is saying today. I can move fast. I can burn through at the speed of infinite energy. So don't chase consistency for the sake of others finding it more palatable, more understandable from a mind perspective, but allow yourself to flow with that energy and allow yourself to come back to that soul that exists within you and move with the pace of that. If you're not in there yet and you want to get into the private Telegram space where all of these audios drop every day, as well as all the art, the conversation, and the behind the scenes, go to www.andrealeemathies.com/private podcast. You can also follow me on Instagram at Andrea Lee Matthies, and you can find more about me and all of my work at andrealeemathies.com. I'll see you in the next transmission.